Hey everybody, it's Mike over here from Growtopia, and my hair is getting crazy and things are getting more insane, and as we get closer and closer into the end of the season, one of the things that I keep asking myself, am I still going to get anything? Now, I'm going to cross over the roads of multiple things here and trip over my tongue multiple times. So, let's start. Gabba-rabba-lab, and I do not go blah blah blah. Even though I do sometimes. So, if you have, like this was from last week. Now, of course, this is store-bought. So this was nothing that I harvested. But everything that's in this tray and in this tray is all harvested. And apparently there's something on my camera. Looks like sour cream. Cream cheese. Whatever. It's a joke. And no, my head's not close to the fan. It just looks like I'm going to get my head chopped off. And for some reason I'm starting to look more like Tim Allen the older I get. Or some crazy guy. Anyway, nevertheless. So the unfortunateness with having a large yield of crops is you will have some rotten produce if you don't get to it. But don't think of that in a negative way. If you take your tomatoes and your cucumbers and your rotten produce, you have two places you could stick them. One, in your compost, or two, back out where you picked them from. Because next year, see, because certain crops like cucumbers, and I got eaten by mosquitoes, and tomatoes are annuals, when their seed fall down into the ground, they'll take over the course through the winter, and they'll germinate, and then they'll pop back up next spring. And that's how a lot of my tomato plants that I originally planted, when I checked the book, it was 101 tomato plants, and after I made that video, I counted, I was at 130 individual tomato plants. That means that at least 20 some odd tomato plants came up on their own. 21, 30, yeah, about 28, 29 came up on their own, because it was 101 and 5 fucking more mosquito bites. Anyway, let's get to the video. Now, I always like to say one of my favorite lines is I like taking a bite out of nature. So let's drop these glasses and let's be serious. We went out and harvested. Now, some people ask me, do I grow carrots? And the answer is yes. Look at how big this is. Now, as you can see on the top here, it's going to seed. Now, you got to watch out because there's actually a plant that I can't think of its name that has the very similar poison hemlock. Looks like this. So, the reason why I know it's not poison hemlock, and I'll show you why it's not poison hemlock, once I try not to prove myself wrong here. I have a really big carrot in my hand. Okay, so here, come here. Almost got its head chopped off. Here's the carrot down below. So this is the carrot right here, and if you look at the rest of it, there is the seeds that are on top. Now, I have two options, is I can take these carrot seed tops, which is what I'm going to do, once I realize what I did with my thingy. Okay. So when I cut this, like such, I'm not going to have more issues than I am. I'm not going to take this and throw this in my compost. I'm going to chop the heads off of this and throw it back out into my garden in random places in hopes that when it goes down into the ground in a year or two from now, I'll have wild carrots growing all over the place. So, here is one of my carrots. So, I know it looks weird, but it's actually called a lunar white carrot. May not be ready yet. Maybe not. Not this one. It felt like I was biting into like a spongy bowl. Alright, this video's going great. Let's try another one. Chop that off there. And usually, honestly, really the best part usually is down below. Alright, let's try this again. Alright, finally. I was biting a little too high up on this shaft. They got a very nice sweet flavor to them. And they got a very distinctive aroma. Anyway, well, not only do we have carrots, But we also got potatoes. My hair looks so crazy right now. So, Luna white carrots, and I got other ones. I got orange ones, I got purple ones, I got red ones, I got pink ones growing, and orange ones. I got long ones, I got round ones. Alright, let's get to other shit. Now, the other thing I like growing too as well, and I like having french fries and also making mashed potatoes, but now french fries isn't really the right terminology anymore, so some people call them freedom fries. I call them Growtopia fries because they come out of my garden. I slice them, dice them, and I roll them into my fryer. So these you guys will be seeing is some Growtopia fries. I look so evil when I'm looking down with my glasses between the light. But here is some red tomatoes, potatoes. Should probably put my glasses back on. So what I do with my potatoes is they sit in a bag. And the only time I harvest potatoes is when I want to do something potatoey. So otherwise they just stay in the bag and they will never go bad. It keeps them all nice and preserved. And what will happen is eventually when it's time for them to start rotting, they'll have a little eyes on them and they'll grow a potato plant. And then that potato plant has more potatoes. And the way that I have it, if you don't harvest all your potatoes from your bag, you'll have a continuous supply of potatoes for your whole life as long as you don't harvest them all in one shot. And this out of 2 bags, and both bags still probably have like 50 pounds plus of potatoes still inside of them. And I'm going to call them tomatoes the whole time so everybody can correct me. Now if you're wondering, do I wash the dirt off? No, I like leaving the dirt on. I chop it up and then I throw it in my fryer. Gives the oil a nice lumberjack flavor. Kidding. So anyway, before we grab more of that, here's my large leaf Italian basil, and unfortunately it was sitting under one of my potatoes, so it kind of got a little upset. But we're going to take big basil leaf, bite out of nature. I am chewing it. Don't think I'm not. Nom nom nom. It's got like a very strong basil-y mintiness to it. Wow. So this is my potatoes so far. Let's go grab the handy dandy scale. And because I only like to use certain things and not buy stuff over and over again and do things the right way, I have a old Weight Watcher scale that I use for weighing everything. So that's what I go off. And according to the scale, it doesn't weigh anything. Really? There's definitely more than a pound here. Oh, maybe it's time to retire it. Try kilograms. Huh. Come on. About a bottle of water. Yeah, something's screwed up. Alright. Well, let's toss that off to the side. Let's just say there's probably about 2 pounds of potatoes here, so they'll get washed and cleaned and either put into mashed potatoes or put into Growtopia fries. So, put these off to the side. Next, that we have on our bucket of many things, probably one of my biggest ever cucumbers. I've not only had in my hand, but actually grown. And the thing is that this thing is really interesting. So, this cucumber was literally sitting in the ground. It was sitting on the ground, surrounded by weeds and stuff. And when I saw it, I didn't know what it was at first, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's a cucumber!" Now it's extremely overripe, but well, interesting looking. I'm just gonna leave it at that. All right, we got more of Mike's big cucumbers. Ow. Some are long, some are skinny. Now cucumbers come in all different shapes and sizes, so don't discriminate. This one's happy to see me. Of your cucumbers. So, as you can tell here, this is definitely a national pickling one. The ice maker is moaning. It saw the cucumber, got excited. Ooh, God, geez, I gotta be careful there. So the reason why my cucumber looks almost like a billy club right now, it's got a handle on it. It's a pew pew. Is because in the process of it growing, so it came from the stem is here. So as it grew, and where I had found it, it was literally up against the pole like that. So it bent itself upward. Interesting. Here's another. It seems like all my cucumbers all have this nice natural curve to them. Anyway, as we move on, we need another tray. We start with our tomatoes. Alright, here's our tray. This is our rainbow tomato. Now I'm going to start calling tomatoes potatoes. Here's some more large leaf Italian basil. So what happens is it started doing its little flower, so I took the tops off. And now we have our next disaster that I'm looking into is the amount of tomatoes that are in this bucket. And it is, well, it's quite a lot. So, like, not ready guy, hillbillies. We got the big mamas. These big mamas are great. And what I want to show you guys is that, well, you never see me eat these things. Behave. These things look like a boob. Okay, they're a little oblong, but they look like a boob. They got a nipple. But they still taste like a tomato. A very good tomato. They're very meaty. They're like just a little meal by itself, just like that. And super packed. Full not just flavor, but water. You can see that water in it. I know my fingers are dirty. I was digging for potatoes. It's potatoes. Anyway, let's keep going. Now some of them aren't fully ripe yet. But we got the cherries. We got more big boobs, big mamas. More big mamas. Big mama. As I always say, taking a bite out of nature. Here's another. I'm sorry. Here's another cucumber that just kind of looks so funky looking. At first I didn't know what it was. I was like, wait a minute, why is there a pear in my backyard? And then I realized it's a cucumber that just got weirdly deformed. I got more big mamas. Big mama. Big mama. Another big mama. Another big mama. Oh my God. Another big mama. Got cherries. These nice large cherries. They're just like the big mama. They are very packed full of flavor as well. That was a squirter. I was trying to bite it in half and it squirted all over me, so that didn't work. But these things are definitely explosive with flavor. And they're sweet too, they're not meaty. They're something that you could just sit there and eat a whole bunch of them in one sitting. We have also is our white tomatoes. And it's funny with the light above my head, these things look like they're yellow and they're bright, but they are basically yellow as well. And let's take a bite. I could have bit it in half, but I didn't want it to squirt all over me again. So, It's a little meatier. It's got like a little bit of a tanginess to it, but it's something that'd be good on like salads. You know, you have like a nice salad, and I can literally have like a salad right now out of my garden. Like, I even have lettuce growing as well. I got romaine growing as well. I got kale growing as well. I got beets growing as well. I got radishes growing as well. Got peppers. My first eggplant is growing. I got scallop squash, which looks like a UFO. So that's pretty cool. My first squash ever. Yeah, anyway. Hey, jack-o'-lantern. So these, trying to carefully grab them and pull them out of here. Okay. So obviously we got more cherries. These are large cherry tomatoes. Now this big monster is probably one of my favorite tomatoes ever. And it's very, very hard for me to find their seeds. And it's the yellow plum. Because there's also a yellow pear. But the plums look like this. The pears actually look like a pear. Try to see if I have a pear. No, that's right, the pears haven't grown yet. But they're a little bit bigger. Now these are super sweet, they're super flavorful. They're very meaty. And it exploded in my mouth. Now, we also have another one that's good. It's called Super Sweet 100s. And they're, well, super sweet. They're the equivalent of eating like a piece of candy. To show you guys the magnitude of what I'm dealing with right now that I just dumped out on the table. So we have another big, definitely ripe cucumber. We got some small cucumbers here. Okay, put you guys back down. Some more big mamas. So the yellow pears are kind of shaped like this. This actually kind of just looks like a bowling pin of cucumbers. Some more large cherries, but here is the Super Sweet 100s. They're all uniform. They're usually the same size, and they are super sweet. On a single stem section like such, I've seen out there at least 8 of them, and you could just literally just eat them like that. We also have as well that's out there, and I did not forget about my big mama, so let me put her in my mouth. Is our cucamelons. I'm just trying to swallow. There's a lot of meat in that one. Cucamelons are the Chinese Mexican pickle. They're usually used in like different dishes and stuff, and they come in different sizes. Whoa! So here's like a bigger one. So they are super tangy. Camera. You can see how many seeds are packed into this little sucker. It's all like seeds. I wouldn't say it's my favorite thing to chew on, because it's not as sweet as a cucumber. It's a little sour, but not bad sour. It's still good, so take the good with the bad. But if you're ever looking for something to snack on, and you like tomatoes, then grow your own tomatoes. And like I said, make sure that you take your tomatoes that are rotten, that didn't come out that good. Also make sure there's dirt on them before you put them in your mouth. I can taste that cow manure. Alright. throw your tomatoes back out into the ground where your tomatoes are growing, and next year you'll have tomatoes growing all naturally. You won't have to worry about buying them from the store. You won't have to worry about buying seeds anymore. As long as you water things the accurate amount of accurate I don't know why I'm trying to clean this dirt up and my brain ain't working. As long as you remember what you're going to say before you film a video, as long as you water everything the right amount, you put the fertilizer out there and the ground is all situated, your plants will come back every single year. So anyway guys, this is Mike over here at Growtopia. Look at that tray of tomatoes and cucumbers right now. And I'm going to see if I could try to weigh everything again. You know what I realized? I look like the guy from Home Alone that was trying to kidnap the kid in the first movie. My hair is like... Alright. You're on. Alright, we're going to switch it back to pounds. Let's try that now. Okay. Pops up. Come on, your mother. Your mother. Guess it's time for me to buy myself a scale. Oh God. $17.8 pounds. Not as heavy as the last harvest that we had, but very close. And that's including a ton of tomatoes, and it probably would have been more if I didn't eat some of those tomatoes on camera, so that's probably where the 0.2 pounds are missing. But we have the potatoes, we have the tomatoes, we have the carrots, we have the basil, we have quite a situation in our hands. I might be opening up a food stand or start to sell produce online, or try to figure out where I can start selling some of my produce, because this is a little much for two people. But anyway, this is Mike from Growtopia. Like, subscribe, share it with your friends and family, and go out there and grow something like these lunar white carrots. This is Mike from Growtopia. Have a great weekend. Later.